Mr. Crenshaw?
Yes.
This is Bill Stewart.
Yeah, Bill.
I don't know if Mike Partington called you.
Yeah.
Told you I was going to call you about an interview.
Yeah.
I've been missing you all week, I guess.
Yeah, I've been in and out a lot. I'm just fixing to leave now. Go over to Texas.
Oh, yeah?
Pick up stud dog, yeah. Got a bitch. I got to get bred. I should have got over there yesterday or the day before, really. But I tied up with other stuff. Couldn't go, and I may be too late by the time I get back with him. I don't know.
Well, if you want to tell me another time I could call back, I'd be
You might
happy to.
try me in the morning. I'll probably stay overnight, but maybe, let's see, your time is what time there now? I think you're an hour later than
Right. Yeah, I am.
Maybe, either before noon, around 11 or so, or...
Your time or mine?
Yeah, mine. And if I'm not back by then, why, early afternoon, I should be back.
Okay.
All right. What do you... Mike told me, but, is it a magazine or a book? What is it?
We're putting out a magazine. A friend of mine named Casey Couturier.
Yeah.
He's been putting out a book for about 7 years now.
Yeah.
It started out several working breeds, bulldog breeds, and then he got it down to just pit bulls and those big American bulldogs.
Yeah.
Those big white dogs.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't get along, the people who had the two different breeds, very well. And, the one didn't want to hear about the other one much. So he split them into two magazines and called Pit Bull and Pit Bull Quarterly and asked me to help him upgrade it and make it more competitive with the other, Pit Bull magazines like the Journal and all that stuff. So that's what we're doing. And as far as I know, has anyone ever interviewed you before?
Well, yeah, not this, but Ed Mullins did one time. And then a boy up in Massachusetts, a friend, protege of Lou Colby's. Lou's supposed to got out a book. I don't know if he ever got it out or not yet. Have you heard of a new Colby book?
No, sir, I haven't.
Yeah, I don't know if he got it, but they were working on it. Yeah.
Well, I've always been real interested in pedigrees. I've always aspired to be a good breeder myself for about the last 20 years. Breeding's always what has interested me.
You live in Arkansas, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think Mike said you used to live in Oklahoma.
Yes, sir. At one time I did. I've been out here about 15 years now.
Have you? What part of Arkansas are you in?
Just a little bit north of Little Rock.
You're close to an old friend of mine, and probably.
Mr. Wallace?
No, he don't.
Friend.
He hadn't had dogs in years. I've never had him since he went to Arkansas, and he's been up there a little longer than that now, I guess. He had him with me back in the 50s when he was down here in the edge of Texas. He lives up there. Are you anywhere close to Rosebud?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Romance?
Yeah, I'm not too far from there. About 25 miles from Rosebud.
I remember being back to visit Harlan. I told him I would, but
I think I've heard of him.
Haven't made it, but I know when he told me when he bought that place, he said, I'm about halfway between Romance and Rosebud. And I said, well, with those names, I'll never forget it. And I know one of his mailing address is one. It's rural, but it's out of one, and his phone is out of the other one. His name's Hobbs, Harlan Hobbs, or J.H. Hobbs. Yeah, and he had dogs back with me in the 50s, and dog I guess he had was old Leno. He was a brother to Maurice Carver's Cracker dog. He was out that same litter.
Out of what, Dibo and Black Widow? Wow.
Yeah, and then he had a bitch at that same time that he got from Howard, from Hinesville. Yeah, she was a granddaughter to the old Colonel dog. Her daddy, Griffo, was sired by Colonel. And then she was more Dibo. Her mama, if I remember right, was a sister to old Big Polly. Yeah, it was. Her mother was Molly O, was litter mate to Big Polly, which was that old Bambi and Dibo.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, I'm gonna run on because I was just come in and fixing to change clothes and get out of here, but try me tomorrow.
I will, sir.
And if anything happens, I don't get back something in time, why I should be here Monday morning for a while. I think Mike misunderstood me. I told him, because you were calling the weekday, and I told him 9, 10 o'clock Saturday or Sunday.
No.
You should be able to catch me.
Okay.
But I think Monday I'll probably, the only day I know I'm going to be tired next week is Wednesday. But it's good to talk to you.
Well, I sure appreciate you doing this for me.
You know Cecil Pond?
Yes, sir, I do. I've met Cecil.
I knew Cecil back before he moved back to Arkansas when he was in California. First met him at some shows at Hinesville and Richardson. Hager, them guys put on there at Phoenix.
Yeah, I met him at a little show a year and a half or so ago.
Yeah.
Some boys I know down here in South Arkansas know him and talk to him from time to time.
Another boy you might know, Jerry Bean.
Oh, sure, I know Mr. Bean.
Yeah. Well, Cecil got Jerry started, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
And there's a guy named Barry Raines.
Barry Raines up in Tulsa.
No. I think he lives there in Arkansas, but...
Well, he maybe lives up in real far up in northwest Arkansas.
He lives in the northeast, I think it is. I believe he told me once where he lived. I forgot, he's called me several times.
I think he's up around the Tulsa area now.
He might be. He could be.
I know a boy that went up there a few years ago to match into him. Went up there with Mr. Fowler. You know Les Fowler?
Yep, I know Les and his boy both.
And that's where they went, up there in the Tulsa area somewhere.
In fact, one of the last shows that I went to over here in West Texas, Les and his boy and a friend of Chicago, they had 3 matched up there. And the dog, it was their beds that the guy had worked, handled. Chicago, they won that one. They lost the other 2. They was matched. It's fighting brother and sister team and against the brother and sister team.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. All 4 dogs was pretty heavy, my breeding.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The ones that won...
Wasn't Bad Ronnie in that bunch, was it?
Yep, Bad Ronnie's. It was a daughter and son of his.
I'll be darned.
And out of one of their old bitches. But they were half breeding, and I told Les and them that night after we was talking this and this. Well, I said, well, stuff that Beach's bred very similar.
I'll be darned.
They were, boy, was in the dogs a while down in Odessa area, Texas. Had bred this pair of dogs out of a bitch he got up here, and a dog wasn't bred here. He was bred out in Las Vegas, Nevada, but he was strictly my breeding. In fact, I had a half brother to him for years. A dog I called Night Flyer was he's a half brother to him, but he was closer than that because my dog was 3/4 nugget, and the other old dog that he had down there was out a nugget, but his little brother, they bred back to his mama, is what produced the dog, the night flyer dog I had.
Do you remember that man from Odessa's name?
Yeah, but I just can't call it right now. Alton Hatcher.
Hatcher.
And he later loaned or leased that pair of dogs to Gary Jacoby.
Oh, really? I know Gary.
Gary fought both, I think he fought the bitch twice, and the dog was, might have been the other way around. I know one of them he fought twice, one of them he fought once. And they were about 3-4 time winners. When I don't really know what Alton did with those when he got out of the dogs. I know there was a couple of more boys partnership down there close to Odessa that got several dogs from him.
I remember Gary telling me about a fella down in Texas he was, years ago, he was kind of partnered up with.
Yeah.
That sent him pretty good dogs to use.
Yeah, that bitch was a real bad bitch. I think the dog was probably a better, a gamer dog, her brother, but he didn't have quite as much ability as he did. But they beat both the bitch and the dog out of bad Ronnie that night.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And then it was after that, later the following year, I think that Gary used them. Well, I better go, Bill.
Okay.
We'll talk to you later.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hello?
9:02 a.m. Okay.
Oh, you got it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm just tolerable.
Did you get your bitch bred?
I didn't sleep very good last night. Bad night. I just up and down, up and down. Yep. Yeah, I got her. That's what I just finished doing when you called.
Oh, yeah?
Last night I just come in, just fixing to eat a bite. I bred her again. I took her with me when I went over to get stew, and because I figured it was a day or two later than I wanted to be, and it's her first time to breed her, and I thought I might have some trouble, and took her with me so I'd have some help with it, but we didn't have any problem. Bred her over there, and then I bred her again last night.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I got some questions here I'd like to ask you, if that's okay for a format. Things I've been wondering about for years, to tell you the truth, myself, and I think it'd be interesting reading. By the way, I was planning on sending you a subscription to the magazine, if you'd like, for doing this interview for me.
Appreciate it.
We'll be glad to send you one.
All right.
As a matter of fact, if it's okay, Mike sent me a couple of pictures of you. I was thinking about putting in the magazine, maybe even on the cover.
I think he mentioned when he called me this last time, I think he said he was working in Odessa.
Yeah, he is.
And he told me that they'd bid on a job up when I met him before. They did a job up at the Navajo refinery up here at Artesia, about 30-40 minute drive north of me. And he told me they had bid another job there that they might be doing later if they got it later on. Anyway, I think he mentioned that they took some pictures when they was here.
Was it okay to use them in the magazine?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay. Let's see, where to start? I became familiar with your dogs in part from reading Pete Sparks' old book.
Yeah.
That was before I got into dogs, but I got some, back copies that they've been selling for years, and read about some of the dogs, like the Gimp dog and Reno, and some of those dogs. And then, of course, your dogs show up in some of Maurice Carver's pedigrees. I wanted to ask you more about that. You can tell in the pedigrees that Maurice seemed to be using your stud dogs to cross into his Dybo Widow blood.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them actually showed up. We know, like, Miss Spike and Red Lady were bred to Reno. I guess when Leo Kennard had him out there matching him, I know him and Maurice were pretty close.
Yeah.
And Stu Fowler, Red Lady was bred to Stu Fowler. And Carver also had Snow at one time, although he hardly ever shows up in any pedigrees. It's known that he
didn't have good luck breeding Snow. He missed as much as he hit with him.
He just didn't have puppies much, huh?
No, Maurice didn't. And so that's why Bill Petrie wanted to buy him and offered Maurice a pretty good price for him. I mean, that day and time for an old dog, that's all he was good for by then, was a brood dog. I think he gave Maurice $1,000 for him. He, the first 8 bitches Bill bred, he got every one of them had put.
Well, that brings me to another point. It's pretty well known that Maurice used to change his pedigrees up.
Yeah.
I wonder what's the possibility he was getting pups off of Snow and he just changed them to something else, like Bully Son.
I don't know. He did that with some of my breedings, but I really don't know that he ever did it with Snow, but he did with some of the others, but that had my stuff, I mean, that he didn't show. Of course, I knew it, and Maurice told me, but Leo didn't like it. He told me, said, I don't know why you let that long-horned son of a bitch get away with that. And but he did do it different times.
I've always wondered about dogs like Arts Missy and
they're
Stompanato, and
they're not bred like Maurice shows them. The top side on Missy and them is right. Was a pistol, or Maurice's pistol, wasn't no pistol. And but the bottom, he showed Miss Spike, and he didn't even have Miss Spike when that breeding took place. She's actually out of a bitch. My breeding belonged to Lynn Watley. A bitch called Ebony. And Maurice bred Ebony to pistol, and that produced that litter that Arts Missy is out of, and Petronelli's Fox, and Boomerang, all those.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's how got me to know it. I mean, when I first knew it.
Do you remember how the Ebony bitch was bred?
Yeah, she was out of my old Goldie bitch and Sack.
And Sack?
Yeah.
Is that Kennard's Sack?
Sad Sack.
Sad Sack, right. That's the old Sad Sack dog.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
First dog I ever sold, Leo.
Really?
Sack, yeah.
Do you have any idea about some of the later dogs, like Stompanato? I always wondered how he got to be a pied dog, being out of supposedly this tight-bred Eli stuff, Black Bully Son and Black Eli Jr. and Brindle Brindy, and then here comes this pied dog, he pops out a black shine, This little bitty, you know, black 37-pound dog throws this great big monster black and white pied dog, you know. Always seemed kind of strange to me. Do you have any idea how he might be?
Well, Stomper, he showed his mama bred a different way. I think it was, I don't remember whether it was his mama or his grandma, but the bitch at Maurice, Carver's Beauty. In Stomper's pedigree, he shows her bred different.
She's really a Reno Miss Spike dog or something?
Yeah, she was Reno, and he showed her what, her iron head, I think.
Yeah.
Was what he showed her.
I think you're right.
Stomper, I believe that's right. That's a bitch. He never had a good dog. Any of the good ones, you knew they weren't.
Ironhead, you talking about?
Yeah.
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 You know,
and his dogs, too, you knew his pup. If you knew Ironhead, you knew his pups, if they were his, by just looking at them.
Yeah.
He's a big dog, and for one thing, I mean, he was bigger than any of my stuff. He had bigger pups and dogs, but he also, he had a distinct marking in his head, and the majority of his pups carried it. You know, Ironhead, he was kind of, Heinzel had some dogs to come that color. It's where they've been close bred, inbred, line bred on stuff like Dibo, that they would try to come kind of like a black and tan dog, or black and tan markings, except they would be brown and tan, kind of a brownish red with the lighter shading.
Yeah, he had kind of that mask around his face.
And he had that, and he had,
I call it,
had kind of a
like makeup or something.
V-shaped there in their head, up the head where it shaded, and then got darker. And like I say, most Ironhead's pups that actually were his carried that same coloration marking.
But he wasn't much of a producer, huh?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. I never liked him as a dog. We rolled him out with another dog that Leo had there. Placed, I guess, about 3 different times when I was down there. We rolled him, and I told him, Maurice, when I said I wouldn't feed those big son of bitches for him. I said, because they fought like curs. They'd get up and stand on their hind feet and grapple and growl and grasp for holds and things. And Maurice managed to win 2 or 3 with him, but he picked his fights. He was bred good. See, I mean, that tight breeding, and Maurice, he was selling breeding. And he won a fight with him in Mexico, and then he took him out to California, had Freddie match him out there. Well, Maurice whipped him on conditioning. He guarantee you that the other dog was the better dog, but that's the time they got raped. They got Ironhead and Gimp both in that deal, but then Freddie Jones got some guys that they got him out. And Maurice and Pat had gone on up to Las Vegas. Gonna spend 2 or 3 days up there, and Freddie called Maurice up there and told him, he said, I got your old dog out of prison. And Maurice said, you did? He said, yeah. He said, who could you get there to pick him up at San Antonio? And Maurice said, oh, and he told him who, and he said, let me know when you sending him, and I'll have me. I said, he said, you better get in touch with him now, because he's on his way. Told him that he'd already taken him down to L.A. airport pretty much. He said he's on his way.
Yeah.
So
That was nice of him, wasn't it?
that's how they got him back.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, they didn't get all the dogs that time, but they got several, and they did get Ironhead and old Gip both. Freddie had bought Gip then from Leo. Fred won 2 with him, first 2. He lost the 3rd fight with him, which was his 6th fight. Leo, he was a champion when he brought him from Leo, and 6th time up, why, he had to have, Ralph Greenwood was handling him. He had Ralph, in fact, Ralph had conditioned him. He had Ralph pick him up because he just, well, he made the last scratch, and that's what he told Ralph to pick him up, because he just went off, got veered off and missed the dog, hit the side of the pit, and but anyway, he won that one when they got confiscated. They'd already had his fight, Ironhead's both, and they both won, but he died at Leo's place after later.
Oh, Gip did?
Yeah. Freddie called me and wanted to know if I wanted to send me, and I said no. I know, Freddie, I'm full up. I got as many as I can. He said, well, I know you bought a lot of those dogs. I said, I do. I think he's as good as I've ever raised, but it was no good at that time, I mean, because he fought 4 fights in 13 months.
Wow.
Freddie fought him to death. Leo had just won with him when Fred bought him from Leo. He just won. He'd whipped that Gaboon dog down there. And from that time till the 3rd match that Freddie fought, it was 13 months' time, he fought 4 fights. Well, the dog was in training all the time. And anyway, couldn't fight him anymore, and he had gone sterile after his...
He did?
After his first condition.
Huh.
That Leo and I still owned him then. We fought him together, and then later I sold him to Leo. The last Leo owned him the last 2 fights he fought him. But anyway, he went sterile. I'd bred 1 bitch to him before he was ever matched, and that's the only litter of pups he ever signed. Because after I brought him back home after the first match, well, that's when I found it out. I bred a couple of my bitches to him, didn't take, and then the boys from over in Texas brought a bitch over here and bred to him, and she didn't take. And he never did. Leo tried how to keep her. He let guys that he didn't even like breed bitches to.
He did?
I told him, because a friend of mine down in New Orleans told me that these guys had been up at Leo's and bred a bitch to Gip. And I said, I don't think so. And he said, yeah, they did. I said, hey, Jimmy and Leo don't even like those guys. Neither one of them. I said, there ain't no way he'd let him read Gip. He said, well, they swear they did. And I said, well, I'll find out next time I talk to you. So when Leo called me, why, I asked him, I said, did you breed a bitch? Yeah, it's a Hawkshaw. He always called Gip Hawkshaw. Hawkshaw, and I said, well, Jimmy said that they said they did, and I told him I thought there's a lie, and they didn't. I said, I told him you didn't even like him. He says, that's right, but he says, their bitch might be the one that would hit.
Yeah. Just wants some puppies off.
But they did. then after Freddie got him, he had a vet he was real high on out there, and he took him to him 2 different times. I don't know. Evidently his sperm it would die before, because I know Fred called me that same time. He said, Mr. Crenshaw, I want you to know, I looked in the microscope today, and I saw those little devils wiggling.
Yeah?
He said, I'm going to show you and old Leo Connor how to get puppies out of Gip. I said, fine, I hope you do, Fred. You send me one and send Leo one. He said, I don't know about that. I said, yeah, by God, I know. You ever want to get a dog from either one of us again. But he didn't. Fred bred 2 or 3 bitches to him, a couple of his partners. But they never did get pups. He had that one litter before that happened. That's the only litter Gimp ever had.
What would you say are some of your other best dogs?
Snow and Major were both.
Major?
Yeah, Freddie Jones Major.
Yeah, I remember reading about him.
He whipped, let's see, Fred lost with him to the last time he fought him. Major was he's between 6 and 7 then, and he hadn't fought him, and it'd been over 2 years since he'd run into, and he'd gotten stale, and Fred told me, he said, as soon as he started fighting, he said, I knew he'd lost a lot of his ability. Anyway, he was fighting Steinberg and Patrick's diamond dog.
Right.
That they'd gotten from Maurice, which was out of Miss Spike in Reno.
Right.
And so Fred, and that's the funny thing, Maurice had told them when they bought them. See, when they first started the dogs, they were partners, Steinberg and Patrick was. Maurice called them the hippie and the Jew. And they, of course, later on, they busted up their partnership, and still later, Patrick moved to Arizona and got him been all over. So he lived here in New Mexico for a while. Now,
yeah, I know.
I think he's back out in Arizona the last I heard. But anyway, Maurice told us that you could whip any dog at his weight on the West Coast, but leave Freddie Jones Major dogs alone. Maurice was a firm believer, old Major and Snow both, their ability. And he said, leave them alone. I bet he said, you can whip anything else. But they, like a lot of newcomers, they wanted to make sure so they matched. And it turned out all right for him. Of course, the next time up, Freddie beat him.
Freddie whipped him with Black Bart, didn't he?
Yeah. That was Reno's brother's pup. Bart was out of Susie, my old Susie bitch, and Buzz was a litter mate brother to old Reno and Polly. Polly too. Their mother was Polly. Had a sister I called Polly second. Both spotted bitches, but the old Polly was red and white spotted, buckskin white really, and Polly too was black and white spotted. And more spotted, she looked like she'd be half Dalmatian or bird dog or something.
You got a lot of spotted dogs, it seems like. Did that come from the old Colby blood? Or?
No, the Colby dogs, most of the stuff that I had was down, first generation, second generation off Colby. Most of them were bred red, few buckskins.
Really?
Yeah. bitch that Frank Ferris was the one that started the ADBA.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he married Miss Colby, you know.
Yeah.
And John P. had died, and Frank's first wife had died, and the two couples had been friends when they were young people, and so they got to go together and married, and he and Miss Colby, Miss Ferris then, started the ADBA. It had it the first several years, then they sold it to Ralph Greenwood. He had a bitch he called, they called her Sugar. Called Kittle name, but she was registered Pine Hill Fanny.
Mm-hmm.
And that was old Red Boy's mama. He bred her a dime, and of course Lewis still had Dime and Margie and some of those dogs in. And that's what old Rusty dog was out at Cyber Dime down to Margie. He's a red brindle, but the old Red Boy dog, he was red with heavy white trim. He's colored like, marked up like his mama, but he had more white on him than she did. And she was a pretty good sized bitch. He was pretty big, pretty good sized dog.
Well, your dogs had some Colby in them, obviously. What were the other foundation lines that you used?
Mainly Lightner and some Feely, a little bit of Old Family Red in there. Yeah, the old Lep and Lil bitches, the two sisters that I had, their mother was about, she wasn't pure Lightner, she was about 7/8 Lightner, and the off-blood was Feely Red Nose. And their daddy was the same, just in the reverse. He was about 7/8 Red Nose light Feely breeding, and his offspring had a little shot of Lightner in him. So I always considered those bitches about half Lightner. And Feely had a little shot of Red Nose. Both of them came in on, I believe it was Montgomery's Hobo or something. Anyway, Silver had bred a bitch to him. And so I had most of my dogs for years have been predominantly Lightner and Feely with a little shot of Colby and a little Old Family Red in there.
I'm looking at Reno's pedigree here, and I notice he's a grandson of Cotton's Bullet.
Yep.
Do you think that was pretty good blood? I know there's still some of it around today, down from that.
Yeah, Bullet wasn't much himself, but he was a pretty good producing dog. His daddy, the old Reno dog, he wasn't bred that much, but he was a good pit dog. I saw him. In fact, he fought his first fight. Same was my first convention fight. Ever fight convention was same time first match at Reno. Old Reno fought. He beat me out for best dog of the show.
He did.
Yeah. And for the fact that he had a harder fight. His dog quit, but he had a harder fight, you know, up till the dog did quit. That's why the judges said they picked him. My dog, old Pat, fought a dead game dog out of Oklahoma, and he ever did quit. He took his last steps trying to cross, fell down about halfway across the pit.
Yeah.
But anyway, they gave it to Reno. And they fought him down there and Louisiana a couple more times. And Cotton and them bought him first, and then they fought him. Joe Corvino beat him. Sonny Sykes, actually.
Sonny Sykes.
Sonny was Joe's protege.
Right.
And beat him with Corvino's Teddy.
He did?
Yeah.
Well, I've heard of Teddy.
I believe it was Teddy.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, so don't quote. I got thinking about it. It may be Corvino.
I don't think there's anybody around that could correct you, sir. We probably just let it go that way.
I can't. I'm not sure.
I don't think anybody's going to write in and say, "Oh yeah,"
about it.
You know.
Yeah, Sonny might.
He's been out of the dogs a while.
I haven't. Well,
I heard he was training racehorses for millionaires or something.
He was out of it a long time, but
yeah, he got back in for a few years, but then he got in quite a bit of trouble.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. I know somebody told me back there, said, well, they thought he had a few dogs now. But I haven't seen or heard anything of Sonny in years.
He was matching a few and breeding a few there a while back. It's been 6-7 years ago, but then he got quite a bit of trouble.
We beat his old Corvina's patches for him in New Orleans years ago with Leo. I had sold Leo to Leo and Jimmy Taylor, one of Leo's proteges, and Jimmy actually ended up with it. They'd bought 3 dogs from me at the same time, which was Snow and Snow's mother, Polly, old Polly, and Leo. Well, they ended up, Taylor took Leo, and Leo kept Snow and Polly. And he had matched for just nearly a year. That next fall, they did match, and the show was New Orleans that time, and Sonny lost 2 hard fights. He had a male match against Don Mayfield. And that was a game dog. Sonny was fighting. Mayfield's dog just literally took his back legs out behind him. And there's pictures in Pete's old magazine, that dog dragging himself driving across the pit. And Lil and Patches, it was a long fight. It went to 2 hours and 36 minutes, I believe it was. And Patches died she died on the way back to the motel that night, and Lil died the next morning. But Jimmy overworked Leo that fight. Leo told me I didn't bet other than I had some money beforehand on it, but that night I didn't bet because Leo told me. He said the bitch should have been fought 2 weeks ago. He said she came in, right, and he said she's going to be stale, and he said, Jimmy, I think overworked her. He said, I'd overlook for her to have a good bite. She didn't. She was normally a hard bite dog. She didn't have that good a bite, but...
Could I ask you a couple of pedigree questions?
Yeah.
Before we get
I can remember
too far from Reno, about Cotton's Reno. I've got him as Lurman's Blackie and the California bitch.
Yeah.
Do you remember how they were bred? What bloodlines?
Yeah. Big Blackie was the Lorman brothers. They lived there out of Lafayette. they got him from Hanson's. Old Ma and Pa Hanson used to have dogs down there at Robstown. Down there close to, what's Mike's last name? I never can think of it.
Partington?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he knows.
He lives there at the Carpet, I guess he calls home, doesn't he? Yeah, Robstown, anyways, right out there, you know, small town out from. They had dogs for years. Basically, most of their stuff was Jim Williams breeding.
Right.
Heavy Jim Williams. And anyway, that's who the Alarm Brothers. They bought several dogs from the Hansons when and they did well. They bought the old Red Man, Hanson's Red Man dog from him, and fought him.
Yeah. What was the foundation of those old Jim Williams dogs?
Some of it was the old Lightner strain, which is the same dogs that ended up producing what they later called the Old Family Red.
Right.
Red Nose was those Lightner dogs, and that had Colby in it, see?
Yeah.
Bill Lightner.
Everything seems to go back to Colby sooner or later.
Bill Lightner had he'd had a dog before that John P. had bred, and the dog was a good dog himself, and then he had crossed him with this stuff, and it showed good. So anyway, in fact, I've got an old pedigree somewhere in it. Colby made this breeding this next time expressly for Lightner. In other words, repeat breeding, so he could send Lightner a male pup.